The Leafs have just one win against a playoff team in the last month. The last three times they faced an elite team, they lost decisively by 3 goals. Craig, what's that tell you about where the Leafs are at right now?
It doesn't really tell me much, Gino. I think that we've talked about the Toronto Maple Leafs over the course of this season, that the regular season was a dress rehearsal for the playoffs. The Leafs are in first place in their division. They've shown that they're a really good team. There's going to be moments in time over the course of a season where you're not going to be at your best. And I believe that for the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is about understanding, trying to learn from these types of games that you haven't been successful in, and then moving forward. Stanley Cups are not handed out in January. Parades are not planned in January. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, they've done a lot of their significant work. Their blue line is better. Yeah, they got to get healthy, just like any other team entering the playoffs wants full health. But this is a good Toronto Maple Leafs team. And certainly, you look at it, and now you have some things to draw upon that can get your players' attention if you're Craig Berube to say, hey, we can't play like this against good teams. We have to be a lot better. I think that's important. You don't want these things rearing their ugly head in game 2 of the playoffs or game 3 of the playoffs, and you're scrambling to try to find an answer. This right now, just part of the dress rehearsal for the Maple Leafs when the playoffs begin.
But in fairness, Craig, you got to learn as you go. The Leafs had 14 games since Stolarz went down to injury. Wall has played 10 of them. He had the 4th best save percentage when he took over. He's been 17th in save percentage since then. Does this just drive home the point that Wall is not ready to be an everyday number 1 yet?
Well, I think that when you consider that Joseph Woll's had some injuries, and now you're trying to work him into more of a workload. And it was the same thing with Anthony Stolarz. That's why you look at Stolarz-Wall tandem. I think it's an excellent tandem. I think that they showed that they can be amongst the best, if not the best tandem in the entire National Hockey League. But when you start to run into injuries, you start to put stress in other areas of your team. And in this case, some stress on Joseph Woll, trying to go through the work of being the workhorse. That's not easy to do. That's part of learning. But again, Gino, I'm not worried about it. Stolarz is going to come back. Joseph Woll has shown a real capability. And this is not about now. This is about April when the playoffs begin.
What do you think right now about the Leafs' best players not particularly playing at their best? Most recently, Nylander, Mitch Marner. They were so awesome when Matthews first got hurt, and now they've tailed off a bit. Is this team's catching on to how to defend them better?
No. They've been elite players in the National Hockey League, amongst the very best for too long. In baseball, they call it the dog days of summer. I think these are the dog days of winter in the National Hockey League. I'm not worried one bit about those players.
All right, getting back to the goaltending, when Stolarz got hurt, the timeline was 4 to 6 weeks. It's now been 4 weeks, and there's no word on him being at all close to a return just yet. So it is Woll for the foreseeable future.
Kris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin to Los Angeles Kings, possible deal with Toronto Maple Leafs. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Kris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmonds, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmonds' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. Stay tuned for updates to see if these trades come to fruition and how they might shape the future of Toronto and Los Angeles this season. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Kris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmonds, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmonds' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. The Kings' situation is complex, as they are in the midst of a transitional period. Their aging roster, which includes a core group that led them to several successful playoff campaigns in the past, has seen some struggles in recent seasons. While there's a clear need for defensive help, Los Angeles may also want to improve their offensive consistency in order to make a deep playoff push. The combination of Beauchemin's defensive reliability and Versteeg's offensive upside could help the Kings balance their lineup. From the Leafs' perspective, this potential deal is about retooling for the future. The team is in a position to compete, but they also need to solidify certain areas on the ice. Adding a player like Wayne Simmonds could provide the grit and scoring touch that the team has been missing. Furthermore, acquiring a mid-range draft pick could help with future team-building efforts, as Toronto looks to remain competitive while still developing young talent. The inclusion of Kaberle in the trade package could be a strategic move for both teams. The veteran defenseman, who has been with the Leafs for a long time, has seen his role diminished in recent seasons. However, his experience and offensive abilities could be a valuable asset for Los Angeles, who could use a steady presence on the blue line to help their younger players develop. The talk surrounding Brayden Schenn's potential involvement in the deal adds an intriguing layer to the negotiations. Schenn, a versatile forward, has shown flashes of brilliance but has been inconsistent at times. If the Leafs are able to land him, it could be a great opportunity for both the player and the team to find success together. Schenn's physicality, two-way game, and leadership could be exactly what the Leafs need to bolster their forward group. While the trade market can be volatile and unpredictable, these rumors suggest that both the Kings and Leafs are preparing for significant changes. For Toronto, this could mark the beginning of a new era, with a focus on adding more experience and depth. For Los Angeles, the trade could be a chance to retool and address some of the weaknesses in their lineup, while still competing for a playoff spot this season. Of course, as with any trade rumors, it's important to remember that these discussions are fluid and can evolve quickly. There are many moving parts in these types of negotiations, and both teams will likely have to weigh their options carefully before making any final decisions. It's also possible that other teams could enter the fray, further complicating the situation. In the coming days, fans of both teams will be watching closely to see if any concrete moves are made. The NHL trade deadline is fast approaching, and teams are scrambling to position themselves for a successful postseason. Whether this rumored deal materializes or not, the possibility of a major trade between the Leafs and Kings will certainly keep fans on edge as the season continues to unfold. The trade talks involving Versteeg, Beauchemin, and potentially Simmonds or Schenn highlight the delicate balance that NHL teams must strike between immediate success and long-term growth. Both the Leafs and Kings are trying to find that balance, and this rumored deal could ultimately serve as a defining moment for both franchises. Only time will tell if these discussions lead to a significant trade that changes the course of their seasons. As the trade deadline approaches,